Buongiorno a tutti, ben ritrovati.
Good morning, welcome back. This is the second day of the Fair Cities Days, and the project Shaping Fair Cities was funded by the European Commission, and the Emilia-Romagna region is the leading partner. Today we will involve the international partners of this project, so it is a great pleasure to be here, even if of course, we would have liked to host all our international friends here in Bologna to discuss and share our experiences and our activities, and of course to take you around and show you around this beautiful town of Bologna. Yesterday, we organized a discussion with all the municipalities involved in shaping fair cities, 23 municipalities which took part in the sub-granting of the Emilia-Romagna region, and together we talked about localization and implementation of the policies of 2030 agenda. Today is the turn of the international partners, and I would like to thank you all for working together over the last 3 years, and this is the time to share experiences and outcomes. The outcomes obtained with this project. So thank you very much. And now I'll give the floor to Liviana Davi, Communication Manager of the Emilia-Romagna region, who was in charge of all the communication tools and outcomes of these 3 last years, and she's going to explain the main communication tools that we produced as for the 2030 agenda. Thank you very much. Good morning. Thank you, Mirella. The first thing I would like to point out is this intense participation and the fact that the communication campaigns were carried out jointly at international level. And as the region, Emilia-Romagna, we coordinate all the actions, and we also produce digital tools created thanks to the support of all the international partners. And for example, this is true for the web doc that we shot in all the territories and areas of belonging to the Shaping Fair City project, and they highlight the good practices implemented to raise awareness as for the different issues belonging to the 2030 agenda. So all projects and initiatives were filmed and documented through roughly 70 videos shot in the partner regions, so Italy, Sweden, Denmark, Romania, Poland. This tool is on the web, and it is called 2030 Agenda in Our Cities, and it is a witness of the different communication campaigns. SDG and migration is another important tool. So this is a website for migrant communities within the partner areas. So in these areas, migrants can browse this website and see all the services available, facilitating their integration in the partner cities. This was coordinated by the University of Bologna, always with the Emilia-Romagna region and the different partners. All these tools were created in order to inform, educate, and raise awareness of the citizens, but also of local entities, always including the participation of all the partners, and also with the aim of involving all the city and town sectors, so citizens, stakeholders, local bodies, in order to reach the sustainable development goals. Our motto was "In our hands, in our cities," because we really wanted to convey a strong message, the fact that we can reach 2030 agenda goals only if we all work together. And so this claim represented the mission of our project, and so this was also recurring in the international communication campaigns and in its products. So we just mentioned a couple of examples, but we implemented many projects within the involved areas and actions, initiatives such as theater performances or different outcomes or products such as flash mobs and other initiatives. So everything that was possible thanks to the sub-granted projects. So projects funded by the Shaping First Cities program in the different areas. So yesterday we described the 23 municipalities in Emilia-Romagna and their project, as well as the partner areas. Everything is documented in the web doc, and the initial the initial music, the initial film is included in the documentary that you find online. And together with Mirella, we also would like to share with you another video including 16 projects and the different 8 European countries. So if you agree, I would like to show you this video, if it's possible.
El 25 de septiembre de 2020 se cumplen 5 años
del compromiso de 193 países con los Objetivos del Desarrollo Sostenible.
Agenda 2030 în Iași. Happy anniversary!
Ziua Depinde, Agenda 2030. Happy birthday 2030 Agenda from Municipality of Shkodra.
30 rođendan.
Greetings from the city of Split. Wszystkiego najlepszego dla Anette 2030.
Agenda 2030, nelle nostre mani, nelle nostre città.
Buon compleanno, Agenda 2030.
Grazie Liviana.
So thank you Liviana, for your description as of communication products. The great challenge of this project was to work together, to involve many public administrations and bodies to develop localization policies of the 2030 agenda and communication policies as well. This was the real challenge, because it's not easy. We know it. We know the obstacles. We found the pandemic, all the events that had to be changed and transformed into something else. So not working face-to-face, but streaming and online. So working at a distance is not easy. All the meetings and workshops and everything had to be changed. But I must say that over the years, the territorial networks were strengthened among our countries, our municipalities, the regions involved in the project. So we obtained important goals as for the 2030 agenda, but as for goal number 17, so to strengthen the partnerships in goals, because I think that all these partnerships were strongly reinforced and strengthened. Yes, I agree, because apart from the goals, gender equality, sustainable cities, peace and justice, goal 17 was embodied in our project, and through this partnership and for the communication campaign, dissemination is crucial. The fact of working on site, this is our goal, so to localize, so to implement at local level these global goals, so that they can permeate the life of people, of institutions, of communities. So during the pandemic, even if we were at a distance, we were able to work together and to develop this networking activity. Thank you, Liliana. See you later. So today we will focus on the outcomes of the project carried out by our partners. We have several outcomes, and to sum them up in 15 minutes, it's not easy, but it's important that in your speech, you should stress the involvement of the municipality and the technical and political level, how they were able to change their mind and to raise awareness in order to implement and to reach these goals. So the first partner introducing the project outcomes is the Municipality of Forli. It works with the Emilia-Romagna region on many policies, and in particular on several projects at European, international level. They worked on the SDGs, and they also organized a sub-granting call, in particular in relation with the associations in the Forlì area, in order to raise awareness within the citizens of the municipality as for these goals. We also organized a survey among citizens, and through the University of Bologna, which led the scientific part of this survey. So it was conducted at a regional level, but also in all the areas of the project partners, a survey investigating the knowledge of citizens with regard to the 2030 agenda. We are now talking about the activity of 3 years ago. So this interview, this survey, highlighted a poor knowledge of the SDGs at that time. So we also wanted to replicate this survey 1 month ago, so after 3.5 years from the beginning of this project, to see if this awareness raising, this knowledge and this dissemination and information has been received and perceived by our citizens. Right now, we do not have the final outcome, so we cannot compare the data. As you might imagine, this second survey was held only online, and this, of course, didn't allow us to obtain as much information as we wanted, because to fill out this survey online, you know, in a way was considered as an obstacle. But from the first results, we can see that the awareness as for the importance of sustainable development goals, this awareness was increased and in the citizens. So now I would like to give the floor to the representative of the Municipality of Forli in order to discuss about the main results, and excluding the localization topic, because we will focus on this topic tomorrow. Thank you, Serena. Good morning.
Buongiorno e grazie. Good morning, and thank you, Mirella. On behalf of the Municipality of Forli, I would like to thank the region for the coordination effort. This project has been carried out in 2 years, which were quite difficult years, in fact, and the region has done a brilliant work in supporting and coordinating activities. Serena, Nesti is my name. I have been coordinating the project on behalf of the Municipality of Forli. So how did Forli proceed during the shaping of this project, Shaping the Cities? 3 macro areas had to be considered: a process aiming at drafting a document for the localization of Agenda 2030, a series of actions and shared projects for the sub-grant or subgranting with the entities throughout the territory, so that everyone could be aware of the importance of this problem, and then an awareness-raising campaign on the topics of the agenda itself. I'm going to say very little about issues that will be dealt with tomorrow, so I'm not spending time on that, but we are supported by Marco Boemi, an expert who will be talking by and large tomorrow about the actions undertaken and how we proceeded in the organization. For sure, in terms of result, the involvement and awareness raising from a political standpoint has been crucial. In fact, we have raised the awareness of all the councillors on the most important topics of the agenda, and 2 of them are actually involved in very much depth into the project. We had 3 workshops and 30 people were involved in drafting the localization document, and then the drafting of the document was carried out according to a methodology that will be explained to you tomorrow. Second macro area is concentrating on subgranting, so sharing these concepts with the territory and the concept for the purpose of having a more widespread awareness amongst the citizens of Forli. So the 3rd sectors have been involved, also in line with the zoning plan, and we have drafted a co-development plan. So we made we gave a public notice where we informed about the project, sharing for shaping fair cities. And we asked all the people who wanted to flank us to make proposals of, in terms of ideas that we would concentrate on. 20 sectors coming from the 3rd sector responded, and so we started a co-design project with 4 meetings organized, and through this common pathway and on the basis of their proposed ideas, we decided to identify macro areas on which we wanted to concentrate activities. 3 projects emerged out of that activity, and 3 partnerships have been created according to certain strategic topics and objectives, where we had to provide results concerning objective 5, 11, 13, 16. And 3 projects were identified. 1 project was related to the school universe, with the school world, so teachers have been working on that. Then another project with the citizens as a target, citizens in the neighborhood of, and then another one concerning housing. Let me tell you in more detail how the projects have tackled the issue of the COVID pandemic and how they've dealt with it during their activities. First of all, the project started before the COVID-19 pandemic, so they were halfway through when the pandemic broke out. Another important thing is that the municipality actively flanked them and provided support. And all the associations have been working jointly as a team to reframe the projects and be capable of identifying new objectives. Let's talk about the projects. First of all, Abitiamo Forlì, founded by a foundation called Abitare and other entities. They have been concentrated on sustainable cities and communities, and their objective was to work with the citizens so as to develop a sense of belonging and community, thanks to activities carried out with the inhabitants, with the citizens living in that neighborhood. The neighborhood in question is a very complex one in terms of the heterogeneity of its urban structure, as well as in terms of problems and social issues that one may find there. So the target were the citizens living in that neighborhood. And these associations have been working together with the young people living in that neighborhood, as well as with the elderly. The outputs of the project were the following. So first of all, organizing meetings in the neighborhood. Some of these meetings took place before the pandemic. Then they have opened a Facebook and Instagram profile. At the same time, they have worked in order to raise the awareness of the entire population in that area vis-à-vis the problems encountered there. So they organized neighborhood dinner, and on the basis of their knowledge of the neighborhood, they created a digital archive. You can see here a link to the website. Elderly people have been the key player in the process. They have participated in the creation of the archive, also to the collection of data and creation of the digital archive. And then a treasure hunt has been organized. Of course, this was only possible when the lockdown period was no longer an issue. So the theme of the elderly people is being mentioned today for the first time. Now, I don't know if you had the chance of being with us yesterday. We talked about young people, we talked about schools and migration, but for the first time ever today, we hear the word elderly people and the fact that they are a target. This is very interesting because all too often we tend to neglect or forget them. According to you, the involvement of this age bracket of people who have been working with you in creating the archive, how did they react? Their participation has been actually fundamental to the creation of the archive. So how did you manage to involve them and How did they react? Have they been proactive? They have been the key players in this process. In fact, young people or middle-aged people have played an important role, but for sure the associations that have developed the project has been very keen on being capable of translating the project into a reality. So being capable of entertaining these new targets was very important. They have been able of explaining what the links they were creating should contribute to. And in fact, their role has been really outstanding, as they've taken the opportunity of this opportunity to tell us how this neighborhood has changed since they were children or since they were very young, and how it has evolved. So now the digital repository is now considered as something that should last over time. It should be an ever-evolving repository that should retain the memory of our city and tell us the story of how spaces have changed. So the involvement of young people is therefore very important. They are the repository themselves of a memory that belongs to us. And Il Campo di Pippo, Pippo's Camp, wordly translated, is the name of the project. Now we have stores there, and we have many activities going on where you once would find only People's Camp, which you can see in the picture. Representatives from the municipality were present that day. On top of the treasure hunt, we also had moments when, for example, partner associations and young people were reading some excerpts, and everybody was very active and very proud of being part of the project. So social inclusion also becomes outstanding in this respect. Second project. So our second project was developed by our subgrantings, and it's called Voci della Città, Voices from the City, with Dialogos as a lead, as a team leader, plus 5 more associations in the area. They also worked on the basis of objective. The target was different. Before, we were considering a target of people who had lived their infancy in that area. Instead, here, they've been working with adolescents, with young people, organizing initiatives that were aimed not just at acquiring knowledge of places within their neighborhood, but also in the neighborhood called San Pietro, very close to the historical center. They concentrated on raising the awareness of inclusiveness through urban observation and stories, as well as remembrances. Voci della Città, this project, has been capable of concentrating on young people. They have carried out urban observation, and they have created a participatory construction of guided pathways. They concentrated also on mural art, and they have also considered the relationship between themselves and the city. This laboratory has actually been created in certain public areas within the neighborhood, a neighborhood that is quite a sensitive neighborhood in terms of the problems you encounter there. In those same areas, they have created participatory mural art concerning topics linked with the 2030 agenda. So we have worked with these people beforehand so as to share what we would want to appear on the walls as mural art. They have been worked on collecting the material. A lot of video material has been have been put together, and they are extremely enticing, very nice visual or mural art material. The website of the city of Forlì surely present them very appropriately. And the third project is Agenda 2030 at Forlì. So we have dealt with the gender equality, then peace, justice, and strong institutions, and the sustainable cities and communities. The partners concentrated on thought and action, Solidarity Center, and Domus Cooperativa, Domus Coop. So the partners concentrated on utilizing ads for local TVs with the laboratories for the schools spread over the territory. They've raised the awareness of these young people, and they have worked on the topics of the 2030 agenda. After the pandemic, they, or better during the pandemic, they had already carried out some laboratories for the schools, so we couldn't continue organizing laboratories for obvious reasons. So the idea was to produce a toolkit for schools, which is now available for all schools. It's an Agenda 2030 toolkit that is now available for the school and for the associations that have concentrated on the project. This instrument should continue to be active also next year, so we're progressing on that. And at the same time, an awareness-raising campaign has been organized through social media, local TVs, and local newspapers. And now Comune di Forlì, so an awareness-raising campaign on the 2030 agenda. The campaign has been carried out working on or concentrating on a single objective. So we started off with the 2030 agenda in general terms, but then we have spread it throughout time. Of course, there have been some postponements due to the COVID pandemic, but we managed to concentrate on all objectives, 11 and then 15. And every single month we have carried out a specific campaign, a poster campaign. Many of them are visible and are hanging throughout everywhere through the city. So we have flyers with all the objectives of the 2030 agenda clearly highlighted on the flyers in order to communicate the reasons for the 2030 agenda. But at the same time, we summarized all the activities carried out by the municipality on a certain objective. So, for example, we had a flyer called Gender Equality that has been available for 2 months now. Then the municipality has clarified that through the Centro Donna, the Women's Center of the municipality, they provide their contribution through various services and through awareness-raising campaigns on these topics. And you can see that also a banner is available, a banner that we utilize on our social media, while at the same time we have issued a press kit that informs about the availability of material and tells you more about the gender equality objective and the contribution provided by the municipality. And here you see some gadgets that we have prepared. Serena, this is a very interesting activity, and the toolkit for schools could be a very interesting tool for sure. And maybe if you would like to take a look at the English version of this toolkit, and in order to send it to the partners, we should maybe be capable of communicating this not just at the institutional level, but having it available for all, not just for schools, for our schools, but for all of our partners. And last question, Il Campo di Pippo, is Pippo's camp still there? Well, there's a little bit of that camp or park. It's a public park now where we have organized the treasure hunt. We met there. And unfortunately, there's a shopping mall there now. Serena, thank you very much for presenting this activity. And yes, and thank you again. We'll see you tomorrow once again. And I would like to thank the Municipality of Forlì for their activity. Thank you very much.
Passiamo ora al secondo.
We now move to the second speech after this first interesting presentation by the Municipality of Forlì and all the different activities through the sub-granting initiatives and the cooperation. And now we have our international partner, the town of Alicante, the city of Alicante. They work on the 2030 agenda and all the relevant issues, and this city is involved in many international projects. Now I give the floor to Pilar, the representative of the Alicante municipality. Good morning. Good morning. I'm the person in charge of the volunteer and cooperation at the Municipality of Alicante. Thank you, and to all the project partners for being with us and for your organization present. Thank you, Pilar, for being with us. We would have loved to welcome you here in Bologna. I'll be there, I'm sure.
De la ciudadanía alicantina para trabajar en un proyecto como este y, por supuesto, lo considero tan importante que animo a continuar con este apoyo.
First of all, I would like to stress the joint effort by the European Commission and the City of Alicante to work on projects like this, and I hope we can continue working with this support.
Valor para seguir adelante con proyectos como este, mirando hacia el futuro y para darles a todas las personas migrantes todas aquellas herramientas necesarias para poder lograr su inclusión y su integración en nuestra ciudad.
Abbiamo attraversato momenti molto difficili.
We had to face very difficult moments, but we have to keep on looking at the future in order to give migrants all the tools to be and to reach inclusiveness in our cities.
Bien hecho. Y desde la ciudad de Alicante considero que ha sido muy satisfactorio el trabajar en el desarrollo de este proyecto porque ayuda a cambiar a las ciudades.
this is the result of a fruitful job, and for the city of Alicante, it was great to give our contribution to project helping shaping cities. Its effect has been real, visible in the short and in the long term.
Tener una ciudadanía más comprometida y más solidaria.
I think little by little, together, we can obtain a more inclusive and involved citizenship.
Desarrollo sostenible que tuvo lugar en el mes de enero de 2020.
So, as milestones of this project, in our city, I would like to point out the marketing actions in order to promote SDGs in the streets of Alicante in January 2020.
Jornada, ¿qué es el racismo? Una jornada que se desarrolló en torno a una mesa de debate y en torno a las diferentes formas de, digamos, un poco intolerancia en las sociedades actuales y esta mesa debate fue realizada en un edificio emblemático del ayuntamiento a finales del mes de septiembre del 2020.
I would like to point out the conference, What is Racism? A panel dealing with different forms of intolerance that was organized in September 2020.
El proyecto Mujeres, Fuerza, Cambio, que se llevó a cabo por la Fundación Vicente Ferrer, en la que participaron muchos jóvenes alicantinos de diferentes institutos de educación secundaria de la ciudad de Alicante.
And the project Women, Strength and Change, promoted by the Foundation Vicente Ferrer, it involved several young people coming from secondary schools in Alicante.
Con una exposición preciosa organizada por la ONG SED en el Colegio Hermanos Maristas de la ciudad de Alicante y en donde participaron también todos los alumnos de dicha escuela de forma muy activa, muy proactiva.
The campaign Today and Forever with an exhibition organized by the NGO SED at the High School Maristas in Alicante, and it involved also the students of this school.
A jóvenes dentro del proyecto La Ciudadanía actúa para un desarrollo sostenible e intercultural, focalizado con la población migrante y también de forma transversal con un enfoque de género, organizado por la entidad Solidaridad Internacional del País Valencià.
I corsi per giovani.
The courses for young people in this project are aiming at developing the Sustainable Development Goals, and it's for these citizenships also focusing on gender equality. They were organized by the International Solidarity for the Valencia territory.
Ha sido la elaboración y la redacción del plan estratégico Forjando Ciudades Justas, vinculado a la Agenda 2030, y que, si me permiten, pues mañana tendré el placer y el gusto de poder desarrollarles de forma más detenida, porque ha sido un documento que hemos elaborado y que gracias a ese documento, gracias a la oportunidad que nos ha dado la Comisión Europea, lo estamos implementando en muchas de las acciones que tiene el ayuntamiento.
See, the drafting and creation of this strategic plan, Shaping Fair Alicante, focusing on the 2030 agenda, allowing us to develop this document in order to implement all the actions concerning the fact of reaching these goals.
Participado de forma activa para dar impulso a los objetivos de desarrollo sostenible, poniendo a disposición de los ciudadanos alicantinos la encuesta elaborada por la Universidad de Bolonia, que se ha desarrollado a través de todos los canales de difusión del ayuntamiento.
Another aspect was the active participation in the survey organized by the University of Bologna involving all the citizens in order to better understand the sustainable development goals.
Una magnífica campaña de publicidad donde hemos estado difundiendo todo este tipo de actividades y de forma que hemos, a través de todos los medios, hemos logrado dar a conocer todos los objetivos de desarrollo sostenible que se estaba trabajando, especialmente en la ciudad de Alicante, el objetivo de desarrollo sostenible, el 11 y el 16.
And all this was supported by a promotional campaign involving all the goals, sustainable development goals, through different media, in particular goal number 11 for sustainable cities for the city of Alicante and number 16 for peace, justice and strong institutions.
Responsable política, doña María Conejero Requena, considera la participación en este proyecto muy valiosa y sobre todo una forma de abrir el camino que debemos seguir para continuar con la implementación local de la Agenda 2030.
I would like to conclude by saying that our political leader, Mrs. Maria Conejero Requena, thinks that the participation in this project is very, very valuable and important in order to reach the SDGs at local level. Thank you very much. Greetings from the town of Alicante. Thank you, Pilar. I would like to thank you and all the city for the work they have carried out in this project. It's good to see that the project called Shaping Fair Cities, so building up inclusive cities, led different shaping towns and cities. Yesterday we talked about Ravenna, and the project was called Shaping Fair Ravenna. Now we have Shaping Fair Alicante. So this is really interesting, but that was the idea behind our project. So trying and transforming our cities so that they can become inclusive cities, being the main actor, main player. And thank you, Pilar, for what you have just said. The fact of being brave enough today to look at our future. That's why we are here today. And as I said yesterday, we wanted to organize an event that could be blended, both in presence and streaming, with bravery, because we want to go back to our normal habits. So we hope this is going to be the starting point for a future work among our administrations and local bodies. Thank you. Very good. I will continue with this idea of being brave enough to look out, at the future situation. So that could be another claim aside it's in our hand in our cities. And then we now have the third city with us, in the city of Reggio Emilia. The municipality of Reggio Emilia has been committed for a long time in cooperation activities, in localization activities for the 2030 agenda. They implemented within the project several excellent initiatives. So I would like to know more about the call for action in order to build up a sustainable city, in order to in order to organize, for example, signs. At the beginning it was just a digital map, but then I don't know if they also located some signs identifying characteristic places for the city. The Casa delle Donne, so the house for women, or the migration centers or schools, so that the citizens, while walking, while going to work, could know more their own city, even through the different sustainable development goals. It has been an interesting choice. We have Alessandro Mafrica of the Municipality of Reggio Emilia, and he will share with us the outputs of the project over these years of joint work. Thank you and good morning. Hope you can hear me and see me.
So I'm here to tell you more about the projects that have been brought forward by the city of Reggio Emilia with the purpose of raising awareness of citizens on the issue of the 2030 agenda. And Reggio Emilia is concentrating on three main objectives: gender equality, then number 5, so 11, sustainable cities and communities, and climate action, goal 13. 4 projects have been developed, and I would like to tell you in more detail what they're focusing on. I will start with the first project that is broader. Others have involved citizens as well as shopkeepers and other stakeholders throughout the entire area. But we know that this period has been quite hard for everybody, as we heard from previous speakers, and we hope that we can soon forget all this. So shaping fair cities is, of course, going through difficulties as well due to the healthcare emergency. But for sure, we would like to bring to your attention that all the projects that we have included in the call for action in Reggio Emilia have been finalized and successfully concluded thanks to the help of the associations, local administration, citizens, partners, which of course has been beneficial towards collaborating, cooperating to a great extent. Some of the projects have been shared with the citizens, and the involvement level of our citizens was very high. At the same time, urban spaces have been re-experienced and in a different way in the light of the new spaces now available. The idea is not just to concentrate on certain topics, but also revive the city and see it under different standpoints. 4 projects have been considered, and I would like to show them to you on the WebDoc platform developed by the region. The first one is a theatrical performance that was staged by the Teatro dell'Orsa, an interactive performance, in fact, that was conceived in such a way that it was shown to the public through the theater company that was involved through their performances, and with the help of asylum seekers as well. It has taken place in the period between the summer and the autumn of last year, so during the first lockdown period. This was an area that was safe in health respect, and the performance was made possible thanks to the involvement of all these people. You see here, they have been telling stories through a certain narrative. They have been raising the attention of our fellow citizens. in order to create a more inclusive and open city and society. And I would like to show you our second project, objective number 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities, Inclusive Communities. So the second project is therefore slightly different. We're still in the city of Reggio Emilia, and then the Festival for Sustainable Cities, planned by 4 different associations present in the area. They are called Equipe O2, Sustainable Happiness Festival, with the performances and walkings around the city of Reggio Emilia. The idea was to revive urban spaces as well as green areas in the period just after the first lockdown. So revitalizing the city through various performances was the objective of this project. Readings were being offered throughout the city, and everybody could rediscover the city spaces through walking around the town. At the same time, people could think in more detail on how they can reconfigure a sustainable lifestyle, so a more compatible, eco-sustainable way of living, or the possibility of living and experiencing green spaces in a different way or according to different behaviors. This was the objective of the project, so utilizing green spaces as a common good. A third project that I would like to walk you through is a photographic show, so a pre-COVID project that was developed in autumn-winter 2019. The city of Reggio Emilia has always been very keen, as you heard at the very start, on issues related to people, the importance of each and every one as very topical for the city. So they continue to concentrate on special issues such as, for example, migratory flows, for example, from the Balkans. And as you can see here, associations have been united in telling stories of people through pictures and snapshots, telling the stories of women who had been raped during the Balkan War between 1992 and 1995, along with their children. These are very neat, beautiful pics, but emotionally very touching for sure. Some of these women and some of the associations participating to the initiative have been telling their stories through these pictures. Sport has also been a topic we have focused closely, but another project called Sport for Change that deals with different types of sports, tells the stories of young men and women through a different narrative. That is not the narrative of success, but rather that of social inclusion, therefore telling female sports stories and dealing with sports as an element for more inclusive communities and for the inclusion of disadvantaged or people with disabilities. Sports are also seen as an element for aggregation and union. An exhibition has been organized in September in an open space through an interactive activity. Some posters have been hanging close to the Sport Palace in Reggio Emilia, with stories being rated also utilizing QR codes. So visitors could go and read the QR code and then go deeper into the contents by connecting to a digital space, a digital environment. And then Via Roma Zero is a very specific, peculiar neighborhood of the city. It is in the historical center, and it's been always considered by the citizens and by the city administration as a very active and social-oriented neighborhood. In fact, there are very lively activities being carried out there amongst citizens, associations, shopkeepers. And in fact, in recent days, the Festival of European Photography has taken place in that neighborhood. Citizens open up their yards, their courtyards to host internationally renowned artists, and the community seems to be very, very active in promoting such activities where you can co-design or projects. Via Roma Zero is a virtual display area. You can see that the street is a kind of a street museum. You can take a look at the QR codes to view the contents. And this shows it in more detail. This is a web page where we have stories, podcasts, and recordings made by citizens and by the artists who were hosted by the Via Roma community to present their works of art. So you can go deeper into the contents via your smartphone in a very simple way. A Wi-Fi connection is available only if you are there, if you are in that neighborhood. So people can proceed in stages and visit every single area in town. They can stop at every stage and take a look at the area and go deeper into that experience utilizing their mobile phone. So it is an experience you can only enjoy if you are there. So it is a digital experience on the one hand, but on the other hand, you have to be there and experience the places, the stories, and be close to the local people. You can see how this all developed back in September, when there was a possibility to reopen spaces. The outputs of the projects have been shared by so many people that you can see here. So, for example, the theater ensemble have been also illustrating in an interactive and creative manner many things concerning the street museums and telling the story of those places and of the people who participated. So you can for sure take a look at it in more detail this afternoon, so where you will have a chance of seeing this performance. In Via Roma, 2 more projects have been have come to life. First of all, a garden designed with the citizens, in collaboration with the space that is at the end of Via Roma, where you can, it's an area where you can eat and consume bio products. The citizens, as well as the bypassers, have stopped there, and they have planted new trees, little trees, fruit trees in the main. The community of Via Roma has also organized a theater workshop. They worked on the project in the autumn period, and the objective and the activity concentrated on Objective 5, gender equality. Women with a migration history have been involved in these theater workshop, and they and a touring performance was organized on the streets. So once again, people at the center, they're not just the final users of the projects, but also the key players and key actors of those projects themselves in a participatory manner. Thank you, Alessandro, for this presentation. We know very well that the city of Reggio Emilia is the city of people, of persons. Of course, policies have to be conceived with people in mind, thinking of their rights and concentrating on their well-being and health. So thank you very much for the collaboration you have provided to us. For sure, your innovative plan will also be discussed tomorrow. A lively exchange between different institutions, municipalities, and the Municipality of Reggio Emilia for sure has to be thanked very warm-heartedly for their participation and involvement.
Ora appunto della municipalità.
So now we give the floor to Scutari, the Municipality of Scutari, an important partner. Now we have Mirza Berdica. She's there.
Hello, Mirella. How are you? I hope you can see and hear me clearly.
Yes, okay. It's a pleasure for me to meet you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure for me also.
As you know, Regione Emilia-Romagna and Shkodra municipality have a long relationship in implementing activities and projects together. So for us, it was it was very important to have you in our partnership, and also to have Albania as a partner, because we think that when you talk about sustainable development goals, it's important also to share policies between countries. So please give us the impression and the results, the principal results of your activities that you have realized in Shkodra. And also, if you think that during this year you have the feel to have some changes, that some changes have happened in your administration, and also from the political point of view. Thank you, Mirza.
Okay, thank you. So as Mirella said, I am Mirza Berdica. I am the representative of Shaping Fair Cities project for the Municipality of Scutari. And first of all, I want to express my pleasure and that I am really happy to be part of this European project personally, first of all, and then institutionally in the name of the mayor and the Municipality of Shkodra. We are happy to be with all the international partners, and that we were able to exchange experiences. We were able to collaborate in different activities and to take part in the digital tool for SDGs and migration, in the web doc and the international campaign during these 3 years that have been conducted as a result of the project. In the following presentation, you can see how the Shaping Fair Cities project has served as an orientation compass or as a core component and the channel through many activities and policies that the municipality have conducted and have developed. At the beginning of the project, like 3 years ago, it began with a survey whose aim, okay, I cannot move the slides. Okay, yes. So the first activity was the survey elaboration, and we started the project with testing and investigating the citizens' opinion and knowledge about SDGs, migration, and the role that our city should play in the sustainable development. Comparing the public perception about sustainable development goals and their knowledge about Agenda 2030. We investigated around 500 residents from the Municipality of Shkodra, and the results were that the people thought that eliminating all forms of poverty was to be the main focus, and the second one was ensure health and well-being, and etc., as you can see in the results. And the focus of all countries should be in the elaborating and implementing Agenda 2030. And also at the table 5, you can see that we put our faith at the transnational organizations such as European Union at the first place, and then at the second place it was the local institutions that should elaborate and make sure that SDGs were accurately implemented in targets and local policies obtained on all local institutions and stakeholders. Then during the project, we were actually my colleagues before me were in the coordination meetings in Poznan and Bologna. Actually, this part will be for the local plan. Will be held tomorrow by our external expert for the local plan elaboration. And he will be Mr. Iliertiko that will present the policy learning training that he have maintained also together with one workshop and multilateral consultation, which served us as a brainstorming for elaboration of the local plan. So we did training sessions, workshops with civil servants, also with civil society organizations, and so this is the pictures from the training that we have conducted with different directorates of the municipality, and we have shared a simple survey, I would say, to give us a feedback in order to elaborate the local plan. And then the multilateral consultations, here we are, because during these consultations, it was the pandemic, which restricted us in the meetings with very little persons, but we did a lot of meetings with a few people in each local institutions, such as Regional Directory of Employment, County Unit, Regional Directory of Public Health, and Regional Directory of Education. As I said before, during these consultations and during the trainings, we have done a brainstorming, and taken feedbacks how their policies, did their policies implemented till now, or were they aware of the sustainable development goals, and they are that they would like to include this in their targets. But for this and more, we'll talk Professor Mr. Iliarsico, which was the Vice Minister of Economy. And now it's an expert for integration in SDGs and serves also as a professor at the university. This is a view of the local plan. This was the public event for the presentation of the local plan. Another great result, I would say, and focus more, it's that we have used many international days and activities to promote and inform and advise all target groups about SDGs and about that the municipality is involved in such an important project. But even though it was a soft project, I think that the hard part was to interact with the mindset of the people. So we have used the National Family Day, National Children Day, Days of Activism Against Gender Violence, which are 16 days of activities, and also the National Earth Day to promote and talk with people and say, take their opinion. And you can see in the pictures that we have the range of the target groups is very wide, from the youngest one to the oldest one. Yes, here we are with other activities and with our promotional materials, which have been translated in Albanian and were in every activity. But we have used also the SDGs, as I said before, as orientation compass or as a channel that we have directed our activities in the way that these SDGs implement and the targets. These are other activities for, we have also a week of activities for 8 March. And this part is how we localize SDGs in our municipality. For example, if we focus on SDG 5, which is gender equality, we have used October, for example. It's a month of against trafficking in human being. And this is a street theater conducted from the youth center Atelier, which was a drama about gender violence. And through this drama, we try to protest in a way for trafficking in human beings and gender equality. This also was a campaign. It's a Reflect and Respect. This is our mayor. Again, in frame of the gender equality SDG 5, every activity is channeled through the SDGs. This is a march or a protest for 8th of March, which is the Women's Day. And this is activism against gender violence also. We have been all dressed in black as a sign to protest. For SDG 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities, the Municipality of Shkodra has minorities such as Roma and Egyptian communities. And these are social housing building for them. There will be 27 apartments and are being ready by autumn of 2021. Yes, I think it's a very big project, and it's a first step in social housing, which will be passed with other social housing projects that right now municipality is in construction. And also for the Roma and Egyptian minority, to give them support and social inclusion, we have conducted a campaign against children exploitation that you have seen in the picture. It's a child asking for money. And we have titled this campaign, Don't Give Money, but Give Care, because this giving them more money doesn't make them better. It makes them a repetitive attitude to come and ask again for money. For SDG 13, which is climate action, there are some investments by the Municipality of Shkodra in this direction. For example, conducting the public lighting, investing in public lighting infrastructure and making them eco-friendly lighting in the roads. Also cleaning the drainage channels in the rural area of Municipality of Shkodra, which is 3/4 of the total municipality. It creates facilities for farmers, for agricultural products, and it's a very positive premise for the prevention and reduction of floods, because also in this pictures you can see that yes, floods are a very problem for our municipality. These pictures are from February of this year, and I would highlight saying that Dr. Carlo Cacciamani, sorry for if I interpret right the name, said yesterday for the climate change, and it said that it is raining less, but when it rains more, and this was an expression that totally fits also our municipality. And yes, SDGs will help us, I think, for taking action and taking care about problems. It is very challenging, but I think that having a plan in the future, it makes steps very structured and organizative behavior. This is in total what the Municipality of Shkodra results and localizing the SDGs has done. We are happy to be part of this project, as I said in the beginning. And yes, that's it.
Thank you, Mirza. It's for us, it was very important, as I said before, to have your municipality as a partner. You know that in our project, it was very important the activity of training. Training
Yes.
of civil servants, training of decision maker, and this was really our target were the civil servants of the administration. Do you think that in this year something has changed about the attitude of public officer towards SDGs?
I think yes, it's a goal, and it's another step that we will make in the future, because we have now the draft of the local plan, and we have been meeting with other directorates in the municipality and with public officers here, and as a result, like for example, Municipality of Shkodra every year has its a yearly result with its targets and indicators. And what we will do in the future, and we are now elaborating, it's that these targets will be merging with the targets of the SDGs. The external expert have conducted beside the local plan also a roadmap, and he has selected from the, I think, 169 targets that total SDGs has, he has selected appropriate and measurable targets for the Municipality of Shkodra, because not all the municipalities has the same targets or the same potential. So he has selected some targets and indicators, and what we will do in collaboration with all public officers from different directions will be to merge the current indicators with the SDGs and targets. So I think that raising awareness was very important. Giving them information and very detailed information about policies was very important also. And this will be our next step. So I think it will lead to a change in behavior. And as I said, it's a change in the mindset. And yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mirza, for your presentation. Molte grazie.
Thank you.
Grazie mille.
Thank you. Grazie mille a voi.
Proseguiamo.
Now we continue with other partners. As we said, in this project, many cities, many municipalities were involved, but also some NGOs, and in particular, for Italy, the organization WeWorld GVC, which has been working with the Emilia-Romagna region in several integration projects and development projects. The fact of sharing activities with the civil society, with the results to be attained, it's a method that we apply in all the regional policies, and this project was created together with the civil society. So even when it was conceived, we immediately involved the WeWorld GVC in order to understand what was the role of civil society within this project, because we considered it is crucial to involve the civil society in raising awareness and implementing policies. Now I'd like to give the floor to Margherita Romanelli, WeWorld GVC.
Grazie mille per...
Ho sbagliato. Chiedo scusa, quindi chiedo scusa.
So there's a minor change to the program. So I apologize for this change. So Margherita, maybe you have the floor, and then Vejle. Yes, good morning. Good morning, everyone, for giving me this opportunity to present today, and also for sharing this pathway that we believe is very important. I will concentrate on some of the activities we have conducted during this project. It was a very rich and complex project. In spite of the fact that we know that the pandemic has for sure created problems to all of us, and we all have had to reconfigure and reshape our activities.
Visibile. Ok. Ok. Le attività sulle quali ci
The activities we concentrated on as organizations of civil society concentrated on a project. We were a quite limited number of associations, but we have concentrated on Agenda 2030, a key role played by the local authorities. As mentioned in the beginning, Agenda 2030 starts from the assumption of a partnership. So one of the pillars talks about partnership for the goals. So one needs the involvement of many stakeholders, while at the same time it is necessary to create a breakthrough in order to further develop activities. So we have had this breakthrough role towards also vis-à-vis the various areas and territories involved. We have worked at the European and Italian level, still retaining a full overview that also encompassed the rest of the world. And our NGO works with in developing countries, so with third-party countries, and is concentrating on capacity building, awareness, and involvement of civil society in Italy. So we could cross-match and activities, and we could always observe what was happening in our territories, in our regions, also concentrating on the Agenda 2030. There are many issues we have been involved into, but we can concentrate the activity on some macro areas, increasing awareness and improving the ability and capacity of all the stakeholders while carrying out awareness-raising campaigns. This set of specific activities is key towards guaranteeing participation. If Agenda 2030 will be successful, we will only be able to assess if all the different entities and stakeholders will be participating, but on the one hand, they need to know the processes that are ongoing right now, while at the same time have a clear understanding of all the tools through which synergies and relationships can be built and activated, therefore becoming proactive parts or parties to the entire process. We have contributed to the project in a very operative and operational manner. At the same time, we have also been able to consider activities in a transversal manner, therefore trying to consider all the activities that were being considered. For example, in defining the toolkit of and in conceiving also the training activities, we tried to facilitate the pathway and the understanding of the inputs provided with respect to all the aspects that are important for the stakeholders and the actors, so that active participation could actually be a reality. And the toolkit had to be a key element in that respect. We also participated to consultations at the regional level, at the level of the territories around us, as representatives of civil society for the purpose of providing new inputs and contributions. We also concentrated on very specific initiatives, and I would like to concentrate on two of them. One was the creation of some building opportunities, so building moments for the people. While on the other side, we opened the debate to the entire citizenship, trying to foster the debate on Agenda 2030 and the specific objectives of our project. Now, concerning capacity building, more than 23 training days have been provided with the involvement of 894 people. Due to the pandemic, we have had to train our people online, and the participation of trainees has enjoyed the presence, and this training moment has enjoyed the presence of more than 890 people. At certain point in times we've had more than that, but on average we had 894 people. We concentrated on gender issues, we concentrated on climate actions and climate change, as training was provided for the purpose of involving people who were interested in training, in the training contents, but also they were interested in these matters as participants. Another topic was that of sustainable cities, urban sustainability, and the creation of some sustainable communities. So, for example, active citizenship was one of the topics, and common goods. We know that these topics are very dear to our communities, because we know the importance of a community that care for common goods. Another important topic was the debate on partnerships and on the possibility of involving partnerships into the project. Also on the topic of climate action, which is a multifaceted topic. Energy transition has been one of the themes we have dealt with, and we have also involved the labor world as well as the trade unions in the with the view to broaden the perspectives in terms of talking about energy transition, in terms of dealing with advantages and risks, so also considering the topic of negative or adverse effects that electrification may have, also following new batteries and rare earths being utilized. So the idea was to reconcile development objectives in our cities with sustainable objectives at a global level. Another interesting topic that we developed with the labor world representatives and the female association was related to gender equality. Stereotypes have been considered as a reference element to account for gender violence and to account for any kind of discrimination also, and more specifically in the labor world. Once again, the activity has been conducted with the involvement of various groups, say, for example, citizens or single people, organizations of civil society, but an important role was played by private bodies. For example, we managed to involve the Architects Association or its social workers, and some businesses and enterprises that have been interested in participating in such training and education activities, with a lively exchange of expertise, with more than 60 good practices and 80 experts and consultants involved. Now, this is just to give you a little bit of a hint of the training moments, and then you can see some moments of online training. Concerning the awareness raising activity, we know that training and in-depth education should be aimed at involving people and make them capable of fully grasping the meaning and objectives of the 2030 agenda. Also, a series of topics related to change have been considered, and therefore workshops and debates have been organized on top of an online campaign, with other tools being disseminated at the national and international level through some video contributions. Maybe you can now show a couple of videos. We can take a look at a video concerning gender-related issues and the other one on climate actions. Both topics were very interesting for all partners in the project, and this is the reason why we focused specifically on them.
Grazie Margherita, molte grazie.
Thank you very much, Margherita, for your contribution, and I'm for sure the role of civil society in the debate over citizenship and listening to the grassroots voice is surely fundamental, especially when trying to create sustainable cities, as you said. Now, thank you very much for your work. It's been very important in the process, and hopefully you will be with us tomorrow, maybe in presence. Thank you, and thank you very much as well. Thank you.
It's the time for il momento ora di Vejle, la città di.
So now we listen to Vejle Municipality in Denmark, partner in this project.
Thank you. It's lovely being here.
We met for the first time about 3 years ago, 3 years and a half ago at Bruxelles. You know, it was a very nice meeting for starting our project and our collaboration together. So it's a pleasure to meet you again. Unfortunately, not in presence, but this is the time to do this. So Vejle, it's a city that has worked a lot in the environmental projects, and this is a specific for your city. So please give us a summary about the results of Shaping Fair Cities project in your city. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It's lovely to be able to tell a little bit about what we've done in Vejle. I will today choose 2 specific actions to present to you. So it will be from our subcontracting campaign and from another campaign we have done locally. So let me see. So what I'm going to talk about is the Vejle climate journey we have done, which was our big campaign. And then I will talk about the musical piece, Little Planet, which is named, which was a smaller thing. But I will start with the climate journey for youth, which was the name of the campaign. So this was a campaign and awareness raising for youth between 13 and 18 years of age primarily. So that means they were still in school, which is how we targeted them. But also it was indirectly aimed at their parents, because the idea was when they had these actions in school, they would do things at home and would then involve their parents and talk with their parents. So we would aim at the whole family that way. So the climate journey is based on a previously tested and very successful app, which is developed by the Swedish company called Deedster. They won our bid. What is Deedster actually? It's a mobile application. So it uses the mobile and it's therefore very personally. And its aim is actually to make the work on sustainability very concrete and again, very personal, but also very applicable. So there is easy action to actually do. Also, it works in a very positive and fun way because there is a competition perspective in it. So it's actually something that you want to do. So the Deedster app both creates awareness on the topics that we are talking about, but it also increases knowledge. So we build knowledge and we build competencies to act among the participants. The topics in focus of the app is climate change, but also general sustainable behavior. So how to act in a sustainable way and take the correct actions to be more sustainable. So the first thing that is in the app is the climate footprint. So the first thing you do is that you calculate your own climate footprint by filling out some information. So it does this within 5 areas of consumption. One is daily transport and commuting. There is travel, which is more of a holiday or special occasions. Then there's accommodation, your housing, your heating in the house and things like that. There is shopping, how do you spend your shopping? And there's food, so how do you eat? So these 5 areas together gives you your climate footprint. And you can see in the example in the image, there is one dimension that is really spending a lot of CO2 equivalents, and that is the travel one in this case. So I'm guessing there's a lot of flight travels in this example. But it gives you this impression of your climate footprint, and it also gives you the possibility to compare it to the average Dane or the average Swede or an American or someone in Thailand or someone in Africa. So you can actually see how your spendings, your climate footprint is compared to the average countries. So this is the start of the journey. Then the central thing is to do deeds. So when you've done your climate footprint, you go into a more like quiz board section of the app. So there is stations, and we had about 35 stations in our journey. And in each station, you get 3 quiz questions about a specific topic. When you've answered these questions, you get the possibility to do 3 deeds. And a deeds is something concrete that you can do to save CO2 or CO2 equivalents. An example could be eat a vegetarian lunch, or reuse your clothes, or shop in a reuse store. And you get 3 possible deeds that you can choose between, and it's a bit like the normal dating app. You can say, I would like to do this deed later and this deed, but this one I don't want to do. And then later you can choose to actually complete the deed, and then you click and say, I've done this, and then it adds an amount of saved CO2 equivalents to your score. So this is where the competition element comes in. Because they actually competed in teams, the young people in Vejle, and they did it in their school classes. So they competed against other school classes to see who could save the most CO2 equivalents. And this was a very good way of doing it, because it made it a bit more fun. And we chose to give the winner a prize. So not the winner, we actually did a draw to make it more fair. So of all the people who participated, there was a draw of who would win a prize. And this is just some screenshots from the app. So you see, again, the first one is the CO2 footprint. The next one is from the journey. You can see the stations here. Then there is the cards with the deeds. This is a sample of one with the vegetarian lunch. And then there was also a quiz element. So after, let's say, 5 different stations, they would all be on a specific topic, like transportation. So after 5 stations, you would get a sum up quiz to see if you've actually learned something about this topic. So in order to proceed, you would have to pass the quiz. So this is some of the results from our climate journey. We had 260 participants in about 19 different teams. And you can see here it's in Danish, but hopefully you can understand the icons. In total, they saved almost 99,000 kilos of CO2 emissions. They did almost 12,000 deeds and answered also almost 12,000 questions. And I can tell you that the team who did the most deeds, they did 175 deeds in average per participant. So that's a lot of deeds to do in the 6 weeks that we did this climate journey. So just to let you know what these almost 9,000 kilos of CO2 equivalents is the same as, it's the same as 345 kilos of beef, or almost 13,000 kilos of beans, or 75,000 kilometers driven in a fuel fired car. So they saved a lot of CO2 during this time in the campaign. So we're quite proud of that. So that was the climate journey campaign. I will encourage you to go check out Deedster. It's a very interesting app, and I can strongly recommend checking them out. So just to spend a few minutes on the other example we have is the musical piece of Little Planet. So this came about after one of the project meetings where my colleague and I were traveling home from Split. And in the plane, we had this idea, maybe it would be a good idea to have a sustainability music song about for the city of Vejle. So we challenged our colleague Jacob, who is a a part-time musician as well as a very good historian, to make a song. And we said you can make it over the next 17 months because there's 17 goals, and we had a newsletter coming out for 17 months, so we could do an update each month about how it was going with the song. But just to make it a little bit harder for him, we also said you have to include these 17 sounds that our colleagues made for him. So we had the sound of a creaking door, we had a child laughing, we had the sound of seagulls on a beach, and one of my favorites was the sound of a tumble dryer spinning around, drying clothes. And he had to use these 17 different sounds. We also gathered some text bits and some words when we had our workshops and activities in the project that he also had to include in the song. So that was the challenge he got. And what he did was he made not only one song, he made 5 songs. So it's a complete little musical piece he actually made. And the song, or the musical piece is split into 5, and the first one is a blues. So we start off quite not negative, but we're kind of worried at the beginning. Then in the second song, which is the title song of the work, Little Planet, it's about the state of things. So how are things now? Then we have hope in the song New Common We, which I will allow you to hear a little bit of in a little bit. This is about the transformation into a new sense of we to change things. The fourth song is about taking action. So it's called My Slogan About Ecology. So it's about action. And the last song is called Another Morning on Vestbanevej, which is a street in Vejle where Jacob actually spent a lot of his childhood growing up like 50 years ago. So that song is about memories. And Jacob says that you can fix a lot with a good childhood memory. So the idea is to change things, you have to have baggage and you have to look behind and see how things were in order to go ahead. So we did actually also do a podcast with these 5 songs where each podcast played the song, and then Jacob, myself, and my colleague had a conversation about the lyrics and how Jacob came to the song and developed it. So there are actually 5 podcasts available, unfortunately, in Danish, but they are on your podcast apps if you want to hear the music in full. But if we have a few minutes left, I would like you to hear a little bit of one of the songs, which is called A Common We. So it's in Danish, but I've translated the lyrics, so it's here. And we might not have time to listen to all of it, but maybe we can hear a few minutes of it, and I will let the technician decide when the time is up. So I've cut the piece, so we will go straight into the lyrics part. So hopefully you will enjoy it as much as I enjoy listening to this song.
Den gamle verden har nye mål, men kan vi leve op til dens ambitioner? Og kan alle få en rolle her, eller springes vi til atomer? Nogle søger nye vinde, andre søger sammen i fællesskaber uden mål og ramme. Men alle drømmer om at skabe et helt nyt fællesliv for alle dem, der går og taler om et helt nyt fællesliv. Et sted med plads til store tanker som et helt nyt fællesliv. Går op imod selv den værste strøm. Et helt nyt fællesliv. Og viser vejen mod den store drøm. Miljø og venlighed, det lyder godt. Og kan Fællesskabet håber fælles glæde. Men kan vi løfte mere bæredygtighed? Eller bliver det til verdens ende? Isen føles usikker, når man bevæger sig ud.
Thank you, Anette. A very nice song. We will listen to the other 4 songs. I think that it's a very innovative system in order to involve people with the music. We have seen that the theater, the music are important in order to involve people. As you have seen in the afternoon, we have performances, theatrical performances, and it's a very good way to create and to do awareness raising. So, and also the idea of the mobile app, it's very good. It's in Danish, this app, or it's also in English?
I know they've done it in a few languages, so our journey is in Danish, yes. But I know that they have done other climate journeys both for companies, the company Deedster, so there might be an English version available somewhere.
Okay, because it could be also interesting to share this app between partners and so. So thank you, Anette, for your contribution. We will see tomorrow.
You will definitely.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Proseguiamo con il nostro tour attorno all'Europa. Arriviamo.
We continue our European tour and get to Poland, to a Polish region that entertains relation with the Emilia-Romagna. In fact, it is a twinned region, ROPS. In that region, an ongoing activity and a very practical one has been conducted on activities widespread throughout their territory. So we were involved in this partnership activity between the 2 regions, ROPS and Emilia-Romagna. In Poznan, we have had our last meeting, so we had an opportunity to visit this beautiful city. Anna Olchowska will present the ROPS project.
Us. My name is Anna Olchowska, and I represent ROPS, Regional Center for Social Policy in Poznań, Wielkopolska region, Poland. First of all, I would like to say that it's an honor to be a part of SFC project. It's been really enriching experience institutionally for ROPS and for our region. I would like to thank all of the partners for cooperation and involving and for the possibility to share the experience and for support during those more than 3 years of project. It's not easy to choose the main outcomes of the project, so I would like to present you some our activities and projects. First, as other partners also mentioned, we in Wielkopolska in Poznań also started with the research on SDG awareness in Poznań, in our city. And the research showed that the awareness is not that high. The SDG, the Agenda 2030, is not present in a public opinion. So we had quite a tough start, and there were a lot of things to do and to improve. We started from the raising awareness inside our organization. We did the workshops on SDGs for our employers. But later on, we were going out and we conducted multilateral meetings concerning Agenda 2030s and SDGs. We also started the local campaign in our hands in social media, but also we conducted some activities in real life regarding this campaign. It was important for us to work both with local authorities and local communities because both are extremely important in terms of implementing and amplifying the Agenda 2030 goals in real life. We were also going out and in not official way familiarizing the citizens of our region with Agenda 2030. For example, this NGO fair, which took place in Poznan. We created materials and also engaging games for children, because we believe that the young generation is very sensitive, and it's important to present, to tell, and to talk about such kind of issues starting from very early age. And during this project, we were taking care that to engage really wide range of citizens and inhabitants of our region, regardless of age, for example. Here another our activity is workshop for agenda presentation. It was conducted for the high school students, and we gathered more than 80 students. One of the groups of students was from artistic school, and they draw their artistic view after this workshop on every agenda goal, which was very valuable, and we were really happy to see how young people pursue agenda and its importance for everyday activities. Another crucial activity was the Responsible Film Festival. 2 editions in 2019 and 2020. In a cooperation with a local NGO, we started a new edition of the festival, because festival itself existed, but we during the project we added a new value to this film festival. Now the editions they include 3 sectors. So the sector of business, the sector of public administration, and the sector of NGO. And the point of the goal of the festival is to gather and to show the most valuable short films that aim to promote single sustainable development goals. And in each of the 3 categories, last year we awarded special award. We invited famous guests, really important as Krzysztof Zanussi, for example, and Anna Dymna. They are very well-known personalities here in Poland. During this event, we were really happy to see the engagement of every sector and the engagement of public. Unfortunately, last year it was the COVID pandemic time, so we were forced to make our event online. Nevertheless, a lot of people joined our transmission, and we received a lot of positive feedback. Another activity that I would like to talk more in details will be a Paragraph Without Blinders campaign. It was conducted during last year from January to December. And basically it was the Summer School 2019 project realization. Because during this project, Shaping Fair Cities, we organized a local summer school where we talk about to the students and local community about the SDG, particular SDG that you can see here. So 5th, 10th, 11th, 13th, and 16th. And we decided that every group to divide the students into groups, so they will choose a topic that they will particularly work on. And at the end of the summer school, there was 5 goals, 5 teams, and there were created 5 projects. We decided that we will award the best project, and it will be their realization. So we will, with the help of our institutions, those students will implement the project. So here you can see we organized the open event that everyone could join and take part in the activities that the students prepare. They were really engaged in the promotional activities of their project. They explained to the visitors the ideas and the importance. And then there was a voting, and there was a commission that based on a criteria known before to the groups, they gave grades to every project. So we chose one of them, and it was Paragraphs Without Blunder. It was a project on the 16th goal, so promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development and provide access to justice for all and build effective, accountable and inclusive institutions at all levels. We believe that empowering young people and hearing their voice is very important, because they are the generation that will feel the impact of the actions that are taken now. And we also see that they're very careful and vulnerable to the things that are going on for climate and social injustice. So we believe that realization of such a project can develop their professional skills as well and empower them to do more for social inclusion later on. Why they chose this topic, this group? Because they say that the vast majority of young people are not aware or are facing serious difficulties in understanding the legal regulations, and they believe there is a possibility to change. So as recent graduates, they wanted to create a project that will help students in schools and high schools understand the law better. So we provided certain stages, and the first was the preparation stage, where we consulted with the students. We were making meetings with them, and then we decided what exactly will be the plan of this campaign. They started a social media campaign which lasted almost a year, and they gathered followers on Facebook and Instagram. It was a very engaging campaign online. They also prepared materials. They also not only promotional but meritorical value. So they prepare a brochure with important material for distribution among the students. We, before the pandemic, we were at the stage of recruitment the educators. So because we wanted to go to schools in Wielkopolska region, divided in 5 sub-regions. And in each sub-region, we wanted to have dedicated educator that will go and talk with the students about the topic of law and Agenda 2030. But the pandemic a bit changed our plans. So as you see, we were forced to move online, and we conducted the first meetings and workshops online for educators.
Thank you, Anna. It was a very interesting presentation, and also about the school. I know that your students went also to international school, participated to the international school that was held last week in Bertinoro. So
Exactly.
It was a network of students. So thank you for your presentation. We will see you tomorrow for the localizing of Agenda 2030. Thank you for your effort also in involving local authorities in the region of Wielkopolska. And see you tomorrow. Grazie
Thank
mille.
you.
Grazie Anna.
Thank you, see you.
See you. Passiamo ora ai partner della Romania. Siamo un pochettino in ritardo.
We are a little bit running late, so now we have the partner from Romania, but at 2 p.m. We have the performances, so I would like to thank the interpreters and the Si Produzioni team helping us with this conference, that it's not easy because you can imagine the fact of managing many participants, but at a distance, this is really complex. Victor Poede, BRCT Romania. Good morning, Victor. I wanted to say hello in Italian because I know you speak Italian very well.
Thank you for your kind invitation. I think it's a hard task for me to finish up this this very interesting panel. I would like to say hello to our dear partners and friends, and I will try to explain a little our work of communicating Agenda 2030 SDG through sub-grants. So our organization is our initial stands for Regional Office for Cross-Border Cooperation for the Border Romania Republic of Moldova, because our main line of work is supervising European cross-border projects. We have quite an organizational resume on this matter, but we also started to work on planning and regional planning. Let me briefly explain you our work on the sub-granting. I will explain the sub-granting context, explain a little about the project that were approved, what activities went well, and some sort of lessons learned. And after my presentation, which I try to make brief, There will be some focus of one of the sub-granted projects. It will be a self-running presentation with an audio track. So the sub-granting activity was planned for 2020, and in order to plan this, we organized some consultation with local NGOs. We wanted at first to explain them about the intention of the call, to give them time to prepare, and also to co-decide about the regulation of the call. And this was adapted to the local conditions, and I must really give a special thank to Margherita Romanelli from Gruppo Volontario Civile, Mirella Orlandi and Simone Patrinelli from the Regional Emilia-Romagna team. Our call was launched on the 24th of February, so we took quite a blow from the pandemic. So this COVID pandemic had significant impact, not only because we had less proposals, but we also had to give additional time for applicants in order to adapt their proposal to the new pandemic context. So this state of emergency in March 2020 was a total game changer effect, and pushed us and the applicants to focus on online activities. However, one of the applicants managed to do some live in-presence activities, and we were very happy for that. So 3 sub-granted projects were contracted. 2 also involved local authorities, and 1 involved the county school inspectorate, which acted as a multiplier of information. So the first project was named Shaping Our Future. It was designed to improve rural citizen knowledge about the SDGs popularized in the Shaping for Cities project, and also to engage citizen administration to implement Agenda 2030 in rural areas such as Moșna commune. The second one was dedicated to fair science and fair community, had also a rural focus on Priscan commune, and promoted the empowerment of girls through STEM education, and provided trainings for local decision makers and students. And the third one practically pushed for greater awareness between pupils and teachers in Iași country through educational activities and media collaboration, and of course involving all sorts of stakeholders and developing online and in-presence activities. So let me give you some brief overview of the activities of the first applicant, not applicant, but sub-grantee, the Association for Ecology and Sustainable Development produced video spots and also some 10-minute film about local problems and Agenda 2030. These are some screen captions from the movie. This is an illustration of the online campaign involving local community through Facebook. I must say that Facebook in Romania is particular in terms of penetration of the territory. It's by far the greatest social network with the greatest impact. So they also have done webinars on sustainable development goals involving young people, short movie contests and drawing contests. For the second project, Fair Sciences Community, this is a course regarding empowerment of girls through STEM studies and the achievement of sustainable development goals, 3 trainings about career opportunities in STEM disciplines and how they intersect with the 17 goals of sustainable development. Topics were addressed such as how science and research contribute to combating climate change and the contribution that women can make in this direction by pursuing careers in the field of STEM. Women role models were popularized. I must say something which is important. You must understand that in former Eastern European countries, um, girls and women were much more inclined to go for a technical job. I think Romania and Poland are the European champions in terms of involving girls in technical studies, especially in computer science, but also engineering and so on. In order to keep up this trend, we actually approved this project who had focus on empowering girls through STEM studies. These are some screenshots from the webinars. Handbooks on SDG addressed to students and local stakeholders in rural commune were produced and distributed. You see how the materials are distributed here in Principal. Some sort of localization of the Agenda 2030 exercise was run on a very, very small scale because the administration received a handbook connecting Agenda 2030 and the community needs and problems, mapping resources and small actions for the future. About the Goodman Association, they focused really on younger people, children in rural and as well urban areas. They have trained several teachers who acted as animators for Agenda 2030, and practically they became some sort of mentor for children and explaining them in a relevant approach with the SDGs. So in this right part of the screen, you see a girl who has received a diploma named Ambassador of 2030 Agenda because she has done very nice work in working with her colleagues. This is a drawing coming from.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you for your intervention. Tomorrow we can go deeper also in the work of the municipality about the local plan. So you were a very solid partner, and for us it was very important to have you because really Romania and especially the municipality of Iași is an affordable partner for Regione Emilia-Romagna. So thank you very much. See you tomorrow with the localization, and thank you for your job. Grazie mille, Victor.
Thank you everyone for the support.
Passiamo ora in Croazia. Abbiamo la municipalità di Spalato, the city of.
Now we have the Municipality of Split.
Hello, Mirella. Can you hear me? I'm good. How are you?
Yes, very good. Please, Tony, you have 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. So I'm here and I will talk about the Shaping Fair Cities project, which happened in the city of Split. I will try to be brief. So let's start with the Shaping Fair Split. We did a lot of job and we, at the beginning of the project, we figured out that Split is doing a lot of job to do the SDGs, but it's not very clear. It was not very clear to us that we are doing it. So we had our job was to make awareness people of the SDGs and try to make some rules for following them. And as a part of the project, as you can see on this slideshow, we made boards, city boards, which were available you could see it at the Split, and we tried to connect all the different kind of the projects with the SDGs we are promoting to this project, and also it was very important for us to include civil society and other organizations which are doing job at the local level and to show the importance of the local government. So we can say that we have successfully included more than 18 NGOs in this project through different activities. Activities of the city of Split were conducting a survey with the aim of serving public opinion on the knowledge of SDGs, then the developing of the local plan for implementation of the Agenda 2030 with the special emphasis of the profile and the problems of vulnerable groups, also holding a trainings and a workshop, conducting a campaign to raise awareness of the problem of vulnerable groups, and cooperation of the local government with the civil society was the key activity. We made a local plan, and about the creating and local plan we will talk about tomorrow, so I won't bother you with this today, but I can say that the plan will be included in the development strategy of the city of Split until 2030. As a part of the different of the winter school, we have cooperated with the economics faculty of the University of Split, and we had our winter school there at the end of the 2019. 30 students from the different components of the University of Split were involved, and the 2 students and 1 professor participated in the international summer school, which was held a couple of days ago. We also have been involved in the web documentary, which was made with the main partner Emilia-Romagna, and through that web documentary we have also tried to promote different projects of the different association, as Association Domine, Sunce, and Most, but also we have talked about the different city of Split is doing to make the SDGs. For example, City and Gov project, which was replacing old lamps in the city with a smart lighting to use less CO2. As a part of the trainings, we had 2 public policy trainings, which were held at the end of 2020, and the 3 workshops on sustainable goals and the implementation on the local level. It also was at the end of 2020. Here you can see the pictures of it. We have also managed to include a public library in Split, which gave us the space, but after the epidemiological measures were put in place, some of the workshops had to be online, so we did it on that way. National training was held like a month ago. It was also online because epidemiological measures were not enabling us to do it in the public. But we tried to everyone who was near the municipality localization, so we told them that they can come individually, pick up the presents and the information, the brochures and everything what we had. Also, our first idea was to have a media campaign with this project about SDGs and helping to share awareness. But at the middle of the project, we tried to change it to sub-granting system, which our plan was to implement it since City of Split is each year giving amount of money to different NGOs, and to implement it as a for a future. But since the epidemic started, our mayor blocked every sub-granting system, so we had to go back to the media campaign. And through the media campaign, we made 600 brochures for the citizens. We made B2 posters, which were sent to institutions as the schools, kindergartens, and the different institutions which are under the governments of the city of Split. We also made the city-like posters, which you can see on the right corner, which were around the city. We also made a cooperation with a city company which provides bus system, traffic system in the bus, public transport, and they gave us free advertisement bus for SDGs. So we made a bus which will drive through the city for a whole year even after the project is done. They gave us that, but we had to make the graphics. Also, we made Facebook prize quizzes. So the people were participating and telling us what we can do to make the SDGs. And for the prizes, we also had cooperation with the public institutions of the firms, as Split Parking, which gave us a free 1-year subscription for bike sharing system in the city of Split. So 5 prizes of that were we gave to the citizens. Also 3 monthly subscriptions for the buses, and promo materials also were prizes for everyone who participated on the Facebook. Also, we had different newspaper and web portals, advertisers, PR articles, and we made a short promotional video and the informative video, which you could see on the different in the different time in this fair. I'm sure that you will see it, and I'm really proud that we, as a city of Split, since we tried to give a sub-granting through this project, we also, city of Split is giving more than 1 million euros each year to the different NGOs, and here you can see the allocated funds. And I'm proud to say that we tried to make some rules that different organizations which are applying to sub-grantings have to connect SDGs with their projects, and have to explain why the SDGs and how their projects, which we will fund through this program, will be connected. And we did it with a 3 different sub-granting system for the project of the interest of the city. You can see there with a different color: project of the youth association and the association of the field of environmental protection of the interests of the city of Split. So more than 60,000 euros will be on some kind of way promoted. The projects that are some kind of promoting SDGs will be funded. For example, I can say 2 projects which we are funding through that is urban gardens in the city of Split, which are promoting bio-waste and how to use it. And also one of the association is diving in the Mediterranean. Their goal is the protect of the Mediterranean Sea and the sea species by diving and collecting waste at the sea, and then through the presentation, giving the people and informing them about the different species they are protected and why they should not throw waste into the sea. That's about it. I hope I was quick and brief, and here are the information of our team.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, really. And you didn't show us the bus. You have created a wonderful bus. You have a picture of the bus? Scaduto. Abbiamo perso Tony.
I think there is a problem with the connection, so maybe tomorrow. So bye, Tony, thank you. We lost the connection with Croatia. Now we go on with the last speech. We are back in Italy with the Municipality of Modena, an important partner in our region. And tomorrow we will see several activities in this Games Summit 2030 that is going to be described here tomorrow. Daniele, to you the floor, 10 minutes, and then we will continue our discussion tomorrow. Thank you and welcome.
Grazie Mirella. And thank you, Mirella. Thank you for the organization of these days. Today we'll briefly talk about our main solutions in terms of raising the awareness on Agenda 2030 and with the active involvement of our citizens. As Mirella mentioned before, we will present tomorrow the Gioco Summit 2030. But I would like to explain how we have come to the active involvement of people in our city. Starting point when we decided to participate in the Shaping Fair Cities project was to evaluate the existing activities in relation to education to sustainable citizenship. We have identified some actions that were already ongoing. For example, educational itineraries like Modena Chiama Mondo, where we discussed with teachers and with the organizations of the international community and of the municipalities some educational campaigns called Modena Chiama Mondo. They are devoted to a series of age brackets. They concentrate on primary schools as well as on secondary schools. Concerning this specific project, I can tell you that it has a very high potential to condensate the very meaning of shaping fair cities with an awareness-raising campaign and the involvement of young generations. So what have we done starting 2019, that is the year when the Shaping Fair Cities project was launched? In the first place, we evaluated the main topics and the macro areas of the project. We have then broken them down as follows: human rights, interculture, then a focus on Agenda 2030 for sustainable development with a series of other activities I will tell you more about in detail later on, as well as international development cooperation, because education to global citizenship also focuses on the role of a series of voluntary associations in Modena that are committed to cooperation activities abroad. Thanks to the Shaping Fair Cities opportunities, we could make this pathway even more impactful, thanks to a series of initiatives devoted, for example, to students. We wanted to involve students and teachers in gaining awareness of the Sustainable Development Goals, while at the same time we wanted them to be able to fully understand and engage in the SDGs. The game has a very strong narrative component. It can be downloaded from the from the website of the Municipality of Modena. Daniele, I have a question. Can one buy this game? Is it available on the market or is it not? Well, it is a free of charge game. You can download it in the do-it-yourself area. In the Comune di Modena website, you will find the different game material. You can print them out and cut them to create the physical game at home. The online version has been adjusted, of course, to a remote utilization. You can only simply dial or write this HTTP and download the game, which is free of charge. The approach of this project and the approach of the Municipality of Modena is to create products that can be replicated for future purposes. This is an overview of the game, but tomorrow you will see more in detail what this is all about. And here you see also something we have done in consideration of the healthcare crisis. According to the project, we had to involve young people as well as the citizenship. So given the fact that we couldn't meet people in person, we decided to invent a contest revolving around the topics of the Agenda 2030, and it's called the Recreate Agenda 2030, so recreating the agenda, whereby young people can recreate multimedia materials like photographs, graphic material inspired to each single SDG. And the contest ended in May with the involvement of 4 schools, 8 classes, 5 teachers, and 190 students, with the contributions received from different schools that were posted on the Facebook page of Europe Direct Modena. Now, rather than telling you about the project, let me show you 2 examples of these works as created by our young collaborators. In the first video, you see 2 objectives, 5 and 10, with the Scuola Media Carducci with 610 likes on Facebook. And the second video is an reinterpretation of objective or goal 16 based on nonviolent communication. So objective 16 seen, or goal 16 seen from a different perspective. The videos last only 2 minutes, so I guess we will make it. We're on time.
Le donne e gli uomini sono una cosa unica. Tutti e 2 vivono sullo stesso pianeta e calpestano la stessa terra. Devono essere forti a combattere i propri diritti e a saperli far rispettare dagli altri, perché siamo tutti uguali. Non importa il colore, la razza, l'aspetto, la lingua, niente di tutto ciò può diversificarli dagli altri, perché siamo una cosa sola e meravigliosa. Che hanno coraggio di essere umani, credo negli esseri umani.
Ma a me che me ne importa se sei di colore oppure credi in qualcos'altro o se vieni da un'altra parte del mondo.
Ma a me che me ne importa se ti piacciono le ragazze e sei una ragazza, oppure sei un ragazzo e ti piacciono i ragazzi. Nessuno deve giudicare gli altri.
Ma a me che me ne importa se sei una femminuccia e vuoi fare la battaglia con le spade laser o sei un maschietto e vuoi giocare alle principesse. Basta che tu sia te stesso.
So
Social media e cellulari danno troppe dipendenze. Pensa bene alle tue azioni, hanno anche conseguenze. Prova ad usare bene pure la tua parola e tu ricorda che un insulto brucia più di una pistola. Dietro una tastiera tu rimani anonimato, per minacce o per offese ti sentirai accontentato. Puoi sentirti pure grande, fare anche quello forte, ma ricorda che nel cuore non sarai più perdonato. Forse è la tua vita che non fai una cosa buona e vivi tutto il giorno tu fissato su una scusa. Ma dov'è il tuo diritto nell'offendere una persona? E qua c'è il mio diritto nel fermare chi ne abusa.
Grazie.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the Municipality of Modena for these videos. We can now conclude the morning session with the international partners. We resume at 2 o'clock with the live spectacle and games and free games with the Municipality of Cavriago, then the documentary Stranieri, produced within the framework of the project of the Municipality of Castelfranco Emilia, and then Tour in Rima from the virtual museum of the Pietribasi company Tedeschi. I would like to once again thank all the partners who have been with us this morning. We'll meet them again tomorrow morning on the roundtable localization of Agenda 2030. There won't be single spot connections. You will be connected for the entire period with us on the issue of localization. Thank you all. Thank you for your cooperation and see you this afternoon. Thank you.